All right. Hello, everybody. I am Suzanne with Welcoming Wow, business coaching for vacation rental owners. And I am here with Rob and Leigh Warnell. And Rob and Leigh both have a couple of vacation rentals and they manage those together. So I'm really interested in learning a little bit about how they do that together. So if you could both just first tell us about your vacation rentals and then also share your journey that brought you to today.
All right, I'll let Leigh kind of share where we're at today, and then I can give a little of the history there.
Okay. So we currently have three rentals as far as short-term rentals. We have two in the Smokies and one in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And they, are you looking for size or does it?
I'm looking for whatever you want to share.
No.
Size
Okay.
is great.
So,
a little area, that stuff.
The two in the Smokies are very more like in town, kind of, well, I shouldn't say in town. One of them's a little bit more set apart, and that's only a 1-bedroom. Tends to draw couples to that area, kind of out in the woods a little bit more. We see bears on a pretty regular basis on our camera anyway. And the other one is in the Gatlinburg area, and that's right in town. So that makes it super convenient for people to be able to get to everything they want to real close there. And that one is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And our third one is in Blue Ridge, and that one is a little bit bigger, kind of set apart, probably a good 25 minutes from town. Totally different feel, different community. Not the hustle and bustle as much as the Gatlinburg area.
Sure. Okay. Then what got you into this, and tell us about your journey?
Sure. So it started with long-term rentals. And actually I had a buddy who flipped a house and he said, "Hey, Rob, you should try this." I'm like, I don't have the money to do that. Got me interested, got wheels turning. So I thought maybe I could find somebody who's flipped one and then I could buy it and then I could rent it out. And sure enough, was able to do that. Of all places, we live in Wisconsin. So, but I thought Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, too high a taxes, no way it's going to happen here. I didn't even think to look in Milwaukee. It led me to a place in Florida, which kind of helped us for where we're at now, because as we mentioned, we've got short terms in Tennessee and then one in Georgia. I probably wouldn't have done something remotely if I hadn't had a little bit of experience, at least with that early on. So that really helped. But that was just a property manager, so it's like they were managing everything there. That was 8 years ago. So that was the first one. Then I found out Milwaukee is a really good place for rentals. And so I began looking here, connected with some people who are flipping houses, and again, bought one from them. And then actually bought a duplex off of Craigslist. And Leigh was getting to the point where she was like, how can you buy houses, but I can't buy horses? And,
a little bit of a disagreement.
Yeah. I said, well, horses eat money and houses. So if you can breed racehorses, maybe we'll think about that or something, because we're doing it for retirement. I had said, I'm tired of the stock market and I'm pulling my money out of the stock market because anytime I put money in, it seems like it drops just like it did recently. So, and real estate made sense at that time, especially because interest rates were as low as could be and housing prices at that time were low as well. Now that's changed. The second changed and the first part is changing, as it seems like. So fast forward to just a little over a year ago, probably October or so, I thought, you know what, Leigh, let's go down. Actually, it started before that, because we said, let's take a trip down to Gatlinburg. It'd be cool to buy a cabin, and I think maybe we could rent it out and have it pay for itself, and we could have a vacation home. Well, stumbled upon a realtor that they basically sell it with the intention of training you to do Airbnbs. And I found out not only could you have it pay for itself, but it could bring an income in as well. So that led us into the first one, which we got up and running February of 2021. And then quickly after that, decided, you know what, let's look in Blue Ridge. It's a little more up and coming area. And so July of 2021, we got that one up and going. And then it's like, this is going really well. So let's try it one more time. If we can beat the interest rates, especially, be happy about that. And so looked back again in the Smokies just because the profit level was much higher than even Blue Ridge and many other areas, it seemed like. So, but the prices were escalating really, really fast. So we didn't get a deal. The first one we got, what would be considered a deal now. At that time, it didn't feel like a deal. And so just purchased and got the last one up just here in March is what we did. So.
Okay. Wow. It's been quite the quick journey for you then.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, were they all furnished already before you bought them?
Yes, they came furnished. They needed some tweaking, but for the most part, they were in great shape. This last one that we just got, that one probably needed the most work. And I did say to Rob, we should have done this the other way around. Like the one in Blue Ridge was beautiful. It was just like, it was fully furnished, but it was not used as a rental. It was more of the family's vacation home. So it was just in pristine condition. And then the last one needed much more TLC.
You might not have done 3 though, if you would have done the first one first.
True.
Yeah,
That
we
is
probably would
true.
have called it quits.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you could turn back the clock to before you started, what is one piece of advice that you would share with yourself?
One piece of advice we'd share with ourselves. Well, I mean, now that we're into it, well, he made it kind of clear in the beginning, I kind of fucked the system a little bit. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Why are we spending all our money on this? But now looking back, I wish we would have done this years ago. You know, would have just realized the value of that and jumped in and bought some. And, you know, we're actually trying to kind of train our son in this area, this field of real estate, just to get a head start. They're getting married this summer, and a great way to go back in time and think this is what would have been great if we would have done this when we were younger.
Yeah.
But we probably wouldn't have the money either.
Right. Yeah.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah, that part's usually, it has that feel anyways, is you can always look back and say, you know what, I would have or should have, you know, could have been, like I said, even before, at the time, it didn't feel like it was necessarily a wise thing. It was because we didn't know the end result. We still don't know the end result. We're only a little over a year into this, but it's gone really well so far. So it's easy to look back and say, man, if we would have done this, you know, when we first started thinking about it, then that would have, you know, been better. But that's easy to look back at.
Sure. So have you named any of your vacation rentals, or are they nameless? No.
We have one nameless, and I think we just couldn't decide on one. The one in Blue Ridge is nameless, but the other 2 we did give names to.
Okay. And do you use
Gallenberg.
that name? Do you use those names in any of your, anywhere in the listing or any marketing or anything that you do?
Yes, we do. So
what are their names?
and the Gatlinburg cabin is called Wild Bear Ridge, and the it's kind of Gatlinburg. It's just a little bit further. I don't know what direction. It's called Sevierville North.
Yep.
That is called Rustic Retreat, and we went with because, like I said, it needed a lot of TLC, and we wanted people to kind of get the feel like rustic is kind of a popular word now. Never used to be.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more rustic.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the key things that we've learned is you got to set good expectations. And so helping someone see you're coming to stay in a cabin, you're in the middle of you know, nowhere, woods, basically, not nowhere. You might see, you know, some critters, you know, some of those things. So the naming with that one was especially about setting some expectations for people. That's what it was.
Sure. Okay, that's a good point. Now, do you do any kind of marketing or branding or anything other than listing the property on Airbnb?
So we also do VRBO. So those would be the only ones we do right now. We're looking into possibly doing some direct bookings and setting up a website, and a few more complications that we want to work out or get a little education in before we do that. So.
Sure. And you do all the managing yourselves of all 3?
We
Yes.
do.
Yes. Yeah. Again, obviously the things that you can do remotely. So, which means you have to have good cleaners and good handymen and be regularly interacting with them. But that's the thing too, you know, just 10 years ago, I don't know if this would have been possible. Definitely wouldn't have had the vision for it, because Airbnb allows you to manage remotely. So, yeah.
Yeah, I read something today that out of the 4 million different vacation rentals that are on Airbnb, 90% of them are individual owners. They're not,
Oh.
companies, things like that. And I was like blown away,
Yeah.
by that. It's like, because, you see more and more of the listings where it seems like there's a company that's listing them, but it's not
Yeah.
really as popular as what some people think. So
Sure.
a great way for individuals or couples like yourselves to make extra money, as you're finding out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think makes your vacation rentals unique in each of the areas that they're at? Why would people choose yours?
I'm going to start with the one in Blue Ridge is just, as Leigh pointed out before, is it has curb appeal. Even the realtor, when he went to look at it for us initially, it's like, you drive up and it's like, this is nice, the appeal of mountains as well. It's both of them, both locations, all three are, in mountain towns and mountain areas. So that would be unique, there probably isn't a lot of uniqueness in the sense of the ones in Gatlinburg area, Smokies area themselves. Just Gatlinburg is a very unique place. During COVID, and they think some of this was COVID related, but much more than that. The Smoky Mountains National Park was like the #1 visited area in the US. And so that was another, historical piece too, that there's like 14 million visitors to the park every year. So when we go down there, it's like, this is wall to wall people. And it's like, this is good. This is good business, for vacation. I don't know. So, the Smokies has, you being a Wisconsin night as well. Okay. You'll get this one. All right. It has the Wisconsin Dells as well as Great America, Hollywood though. And it has a national park, right there, all of those things coming together. So you're going to appeal to a lot of different people that way.
Sure. So what is it, I should say, how do you make it work being married and doing this as a team effort?
Yeah, that's a great question. So.
We went back and forth on this one a little bit. So one of the things that's kind of fun is it's something we have in common that we both enjoy. So, we get a booking and you get all excited and, do a little research and just see, how that's going to work out and if the calendar's full and all that kind of stuff. There's definitely challenges with it, of course, but it gives us, we get ideas that we can bounce off of each other. So it's not just, all falls on one person.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what else can you
think
about that? Like,
even in the managing side, the customer service side, it helps to bounce off. Hey, before we send out a message, even just read through this real quick, just see if it sounds okay. Cause you have to deal with some hard guests sometimes. And so, making sure that we're not reacting and that we realize this is publicly visible, not just to the guest at times, sometimes at least. So let's make sure that we recognize that. And we have totally different giftings and desires. So as I mentioned before, Leigh wanted nothing to do with the long-term rentals. Part of that was because I had her help me fix one up after it got trashed. And
really trashed.
Yeah, and so she will never forget that there. But she loves to decorate, and so going to a vacation rental is totally different in that aspect. And so she really likes to go there and do that, where I like to go and fix things, or add something that we weren't able to add before. So that's good to see as well. I'm more of a numbers person than she is. And so I make sure that we're where we need to be. There's an extra tax that I have to calculate every month in Gatlinburg because we're in the city of Gatlinburg, and she would have no tolerance for that.
I'm not a numbers girl.
Yeah. And even in choosing, is this the right purchase? The I would do all the numbers, and then she would say, yeah, okay, yep, that's good. I like the Gavin, and if I'm going to trust that you say it should make a profit, then we'll go with it. So that was helpful as well, having different perspectives that way.
And we
So
kind of split responsibility too. So yeah. I handle a lot of the communication with the guests and all our staff, like our cleaning staff and maintenance staff, where he covers all the financial side of things. So I don't have to worry about any of that, but we do still bounce stuff off of each other.
Sure. So typically then, Leigh, you're the one that's doing a lot of the day-to-day interactions with the guests?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, Sharon, that's another good thing too, is when she's busy, but we want to get back to someone immediately, I'm usually not. So being able to, share that,
work that out.
Yeah. Having different schedules, allows us to be able to make sure someone's always there, at least to answer. Usually it's on the platform. So usually it's a message of some sort.
Sure. Okay. What is one question that maybe I didn't touch on yet in our interview that you wish I would have asked you?
Maybe what's been the toughest part?
Yeah. Okay. What's been the toughest part? Share with us.
Okay, we'll keep it short. So, this goes back to why I feel so strongly about setting expectations.
Yeah.
A last minute booking in Georgia, and I don't think they read through the description. And we make it very clear that our internet is not very good there, and so don't plan on doing a Zoom call or those types of things. Well, they did. They said they contacted us about it and several things, and ended up with 1 stars across the board is what we got in our reviews. And so that was a day that it's like, I want to quit.
Throw in the towel. Rough day.
That's just one guess. And then you can read through so many other reviews of people who had a very special vacation that you were able to provide for them. And that they created memories for their family. And so you can get over it if you keep the big picture in mind at that point.
I was going to say, is that how you got over it? As you somehow reminded yourself then of the big picture so that you weren't ready to throw it in?
Yeah, I sent Leigh a text because I knew that she's going to have a hard time letting go of this one. And it was one where Airbnb wouldn't adjust it or anything. So it was hard to swallow, so then a text of a quick, hey, here's the next review immediately after that, that was like just glowing. That's like, okay, just remember, this is why we do what we do. So
and you do what you do because it gives people that wonderful vacation. I had somebody say to me not too long ago, you can't return a vacation. Mm-hmm. So it was, it just kind of struck me that really the vacation rental owners, I don't think they realize sometimes how important they are and how important it is to, that experience to their guests.
Right.
Okay. Any last advice for couples who are thinking about doing this as a team effort?
I think for us, he mentioned this group that we are a part of, this support team that we have. It would have been very difficult to try to do something like this solo. Even as a couple, but not having a clue what we were getting into. So I feel like that is kind of almost like a support group. It's a group that we're connected with of other owners. And, it's just really helpful to kind of help us gain perspective and learn how to balance our roles well in that whole situation.
Yeah. And I think you do have to, even though you're going to share some things, you still have to have someone who's probably going to be the primary person doing, think the customer service side of things possibly. We were given advice that don't think that both of you are going to have equal say in that necessarily. You will disagree. You'll disagree how you handled something, and don't always be looking at what the other person said or responded to the guest. Also had another good advice: don't watch your cameras. You'll see things that you never want to see. So
He's learned to just not tell me what he sees on cameras if he looks at something cool like a bear going by. But if there's something bad happening, it's
we're just talking one on the front porch as people are coming, so it's not like we're spying on people all the time.
Right. So back to the disagreement part then, and I know this might be a little personal, but have you had any big disagreements then in the managing of the vacation rentals? And if you did, how'd you get past it?
Sure. I mean, we've shown each other a lot of grace. I'll start with that. So that's how we got past it. But we've had disagreement mostly on the customer service end of things there. So one of us wanted to actually make a point and be right with the guest, I think. And the other was like, no, that would not be the term to use. So, and that caused a little frustration.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys both coming on today and sharing with everyone. I will be posting this for everyone to see. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you, Suzanne.